The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
What's up, y'all? Gene here with Lead Ninja. I'm so excited today. I've got a friend of mine, Peter Roth, in the booth with us, and we've got Don Johnson. You guys know him. And excited today to be introducing Peter to you. Peter used to own a cigar shop. We didn't talk about that. And he also owned an HVAC company that he exited from. And right now, he actually runs a solar company that attacks the business of solar. Very different than what I think most of you would expect. So let's open up. Say hello, Peter.
Hey, guys. How are you? How's everyone doing today?
Hey, guys, if you are watching this on a live, will you please just put live in the comments? If you're watching it on a replay, please just write replay in the comments. It's all we ask for. We do appreciate it in advance. And I also got Don Johnson in the studio. Say hello, Don.
Hey, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So today we want to talk about Peter's journey through business. He's kind of a serial entrepreneur, if you will. And we're really excited to bring to you today how he actually is helping companies who are in the HVAC business add solar to their companies. So, Peter, why don't you just give us a little bit about your journey, maybe take the next 3 to 5 minutes and tell us more about you.
Sure. Can I just start with the obvious elephant in the room and make the super obvious Miami Vice joke?
Go ahead.
Watch out, Tubbs. Watch out, Tubbs.
Yeah, man. Where's
Tubbs if you go that
where's
route.
the 80s jacket with the sleeves rolled up and all that kind of stuff, man? It's like, this will be so much more fun. And pulling up in like the Ferrari, you know?
Modern day Ferrari, I guess we have to have. All right.
Don doesn't have a Ferrari, but he's got an Aston Martin and a what are those?
Plaid Tesla.
Tesla
Plaid. Yeah, that's my.
You got a Tesla Plaid? Oh man,
Tesla Plaid, Model S.
Yeah,
Plaid.
I still am feeling it in my neck from when we were out in Texas. He hit it without me knowing it and slammed my head back in the seat.
Yeah, I was in.
It was insane.
I was in someone else's car, which is nowhere near as fast as that. I think it was like 0 to 16, like 2.8 seconds or something like that. And I started blacking out, like no shit. My head like slammed into the the back of the chair so fast, and like the blood started rushing to the back of my head, like the G forces was unbearable. I can't even fathom what it would be like in your stupid car. Like, why do you need that?
Yeah, well, need is definitely not there, obviously, but just because somebody asks why I do that, because I can. It's about the only reason that you do it, because I can. But 0 to 60 is like 1.99 in those Plaid, 2 seconds, and you will kind of almost like get a little like a passing out or tingling sensation. A lot of times people want to go to lunch, say, hey, we'll go to lunch, but we have to do this before lunch, because if we were to do this after lunch, we're all puking in the car. Yeah. So we're not doing that after lunch.
You're cleaning up the back seat real hard. Yeah, and I apologize. I have allergies, so like this left eye is just going to keep bugging me. So if I'm crying, it's not because your story's making me sad.
I thought I was very funny. Never mind.
So, hey, babe, I know that we're getting a little bit of feedback that I was hearing before. If you figure out who it is, baby, let us know. We might have him jump off and jump back on, okay? Go ahead, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. So, serial entrepreneur, man, that is not a compliment. I'm going to tell you, like, I used to think it was a compliment. I used to think it was like a goal to strive for, was having the badge of serial entrepreneur. I have since learned in my elder years that it's actually not a badge of honor. It's actually just it's like having 6 kids, which I think you do, Gene. Like, it's just too much. Like, you just end up not knowing half of their names. You're like, hey, where's kid 1?
Yeah.
That's kid 2. I meant 1. Oh, 3. You know what I'm saying. They're all
Especially when you have different businesses that are in different fields at the same time, right? I remember having a conversation with somebody you guys probably know by the name of Ken Goodrich. And Ken Goodrich and I talked several summers ago, and I was running this business, and I also had a contracting company, and my role in it was actually a little bit larger. And Ken said, "Gene, don't you know that you can't serve two masters?" You know, he said it'd be different if it was multiple training companies all doing the same thing, but it's really difficult to serve two masters and really you need focus in business, right? And if we split our focus, it's very difficult for us to be successful at both things.
Look, guys, I'm going to make this real simple for you. Who here, by raise of hands, thinks it's hard enough just to be successful in one fucking business?
I got both hands up.
Yeah. Right. That's all you got to tell anybody. Like, isn't it hard enough just having one business? Like, what are you doing having two? Like having two wives. I mean, could you fathom such a crazy concept? It's like, I can't even barely keep one happy. It's like, now you want to throw another one. It's like,
you're able to keep one happy?
Yeah. Who am I kidding? Sorry, Julia.
If we don't watch out, Brittany's going to end the stream on us right now.
I love my wife. I really do. Don't divorce me.
So, serial entrepreneur. Let's move it along.
Yeah. So, I got into HVAC. It was a pure accident that I got into HVAC. I ended up really loving HVAC. It was a total departure for me from anything I had ever done. I'd never been in the trades. I knew nothing about the trades. I knew as much about HVAC as anyone does who knows how to turn up the thermostat. That's all I knew. Everything I learned, I had to learn with a gun to my head pretty much. And so, but I really ended up loving it. I really, truly did. It was a totally unique experience for me. And once I kind of wrapped my mind around how it worked differently than every other business that I'd been in the past, I really learned to love it. And I love, I love business. I really just love everything about business. And the thing that gets any business owner excited is profits. And I was really excited just to see the profit potential in that business. And I got to tell you, it's better in HVAC than it is in solar. Like, so anyone who's contemplating, should I jump ship and go to solar? I would be like, don't. Like, seriously, like, I think HVAC is a phenomenal business. So if you're ever, if you're ever on the edge of, should I jump ship? Should I do something different? It's like, no, just buckle down even more, just double down even more, and just really work even harder at this one thing, because you guys really have a really wonderful opportunity in HVAC. And even though there's a million companies in your neighborhood and there's a million trucks out on the road with a logo that's nicer than yours because you paid Dan Antonelli a ton of money for it, and I love Dan. You can do that too. You can absolutely still make a really amazing living even without all those fancy bells and whistles. Just keep chipping away at it, man. Every day a little bit better. So I love HVAC. But I moved into, we sold our HVAC company and we did quite well on the sale of that. And honestly, I didn't want to sell the company. It wasn't because I was tired of it. It wasn't because of any of those reasons. We got out of it just because I was in a bad partnership. I was just, partnerships they're partnerships, right? For some people, they work.
They're like a marriage.
Totally. Like, you better pick well, and you better really pick carefully. And
let's talk about that just for a second. Like, because what I've seen through some partnerships is it's like two people, husband and wife, they get together and they get married, and then all of a sudden they have their first fight and now we get divorced. Like, what's up with that? We've got where's the thick skin, right? So if you're going into a partnership, you got to know that there are going to be times where you're not going to be getting along. There are going to be times where you're going to offend somebody else, or they're going to say something or create a story about you based on something that happened. And you really got to be ready to put your ego down, like you would with your wife, like if you had multiple kids and stuff, and work shit out. So be careful, guys, getting into partnerships. It is like a business. And hell, Don and I have been in partnerships before that weren't going great, right? And fortunately, we're still here together, right? We were able to work through our differences, but that's not how it always is. Keep going.
Well, one of the things that I found to be a real challenge in almost any partnership is that, just like in a marriage, but really in a partnership, think about any business. A business is just nothing but risk taking after risk taking after calculated risk after calculated risk. And full well, it's like, I'm going to lose money every week, every month for the next X number of months until shit starts clicking. But trying to convince two people to have that same level of dedication, commitment to that loss, to the stage of loss in the beginning, is, I find, almost impossible. It's very unique where you have two people who are truly so committed and so driven and so willing to deal with all of those downfalls and the valleys until they reach those peaks, that most partnerships end up failing because one guy's complete, hey, you're doing this wrong, and you're losing money over here, and you're defending it like, yes, but I know it's going to work. It's just going to take more time. I need to iron out more details. And one guy doesn't have the patience. And that's what was going on, in our situation, is that we're just always butting heads about, how to deal with those valleys. And it became a little bit just unsustainable. And that's why we both decided together that it's just smarter for us to try to get out of this business while it's doing really well. And so that was the smarter choice for us. But I didn't want to do that. Like, we had so much more growth potential to go. We were just getting started. That. We were just getting started. We had, if we had even 2 more years, we probably could have doubled our valuation. And 2 more years after that, we could have doubled it again. And still been on an upward trajectory the whole time. And so that's why, please, I warn people. It's like, I'm not saying don't do partnerships, but be extraordinarily selective, just like you would getting married. Like, you didn't get married to the first girl you'd went on a date with, did you? Right? Right? You were probably a little bit cautious. Like, you don't move in on the second date. You test the waters really carefully. You start to learn each other's quirks, and you learn to see how you can handle adversity and how do we handle fights.
My first partnership lasted 2 weeks and cost me almost $100,000.
Wow. Okay, you win.
No bullshit. I literally 2 weeks later, I pulled the plug on it because the 2 partners that I'd gotten into business with were just not prepared to be business owners. And I said, if I don't do this at the end of a year, I'm going to be out $500,000, not just almost $100,000. So sometimes it's important to know when to pull the plug.
Yeah, but sometimes you also know that if I pull the plug now, then I'm just definitely taking a loss. It's an immediate loss.
I had to do that though, because otherwise it would have really, really hurt the rest of the reserves that I had. Don, you got anything you want to add to the whole partnership conversation? I know that your mic is muted.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not doing that, causing any of that feedback. But I sit here and giggle and laugh to myself because I don't want to say 100,000 sounds cheap. Why not just go ahead and stick around 30 years and give them 3.7 million? So that was the funny joke that you definitely said was, a wife is grand, but a divorce is 500 grand. That would be nice if that divorce was 500 grand. So sorry, I'm gonna remain background because I might get in trouble if I talk anymore.
That was a 7-figure loss.
Oh my God.
Woo,
so that was my story, man. It's like, the partnership was what really became the problem in that whole scenario. And but I was willing to keep going. I wanted to keep going for years. I was ready to blow this thing up and turn it into a huge organization, and we just never really had an opportunity to do it. At the end of the day, I'm not upset because we made out well, we sold, we made good money on that, so I'm not too upset about any of that. But there's no time to sit here and look back on what ifs, what could have been. Just move along.
Hey guys, if you're watching this live, will you please do us a favor and just put live down in the comments? If you're watching it on a replay, just put replay, please. And by the way, seeing as I've got these 2 guys on here, if you've got any questions about adding solar to your HVAC business, now would be the time to actually put them down in the comments. And if you got any other questions outside of that, happy to look at those as well. So, but now's the time to start putting them in the comments so that we get to you first.
Yeah,
so
guys,
please continue.
Yeah, guys, I know you're going to have questions about solar because I know for most HVAC companies, it's a totally foreign concept. So, and it is kind of a goofy one because it's not what you would think of, like adding in it's not like adding in electrical or adding in plumbing. It's totally different than that. It's way better. That's why I moved into it. So please definitely throw in questions and I'm happy to answer all of them as we move along. But the reason why I got into solar was because of what I just said. Like, we were looking to add on another add-on. I didn't want to do electrical. I didn't want to do plumbing. That sounded like way more. Just the juice did not seem like it was worth the squeeze on that at all. So I was really kind of going through weighing my options. And in doing my research, really solar came out by far on top. And the main motivating reason behind it was really super simple. It was that I didn't have to learn anything new. And even more importantly, I wasn't the one who was having to install it. I didn't have to actually go and actually learn how to more importantly, train my guys on how to do anything, because we all know how tough it is to train, to train your wrench turners on how to turn a new type of wrench. Like, once they're set in their ways on one thing, like even getting them to learn a new product can be like pulling teeth, let alone an entirely new vertical. So that's what I loved about this, is that checked off those really big boxes for me, is that now I didn't have to train my guys in doing anything new. All I had to do was me and my sales guys. We just had to go learn how to just do a basic pitch on solar, and then some other guy would take care of it for us and we would make the money. I'm like, I like that. Let's do that.
Now so let's clarify. You don't own a solar company, you own a sales organization.
That is correct. I own a sales organization.
Do you do any of the install yourself?
Hell no.
All right, so then this is the second time I've seen this, pure sales organization, nothing else, no wrenches, everything else gets done by somebody else, and you are a sales organization purely and simply.
That is correct. That is correct.
Beautiful.
And because of the profit margins in solar, it is a completely viable business concept. Completely viable. So that's why
can I ask you, what percentage do you get to keep of the job, or what's your KPI for paying out on the install portion of it? And do they handle the equipment side, or do you handle the logistics on the equipment side?
Nope. I don't touch any of that, all that difficult stuff, all the operations and installs, and none of that's permitting, none of that stuff. All that stuff gets handled by our partners. So we have strategic relationships with nationwide installers that will go and take care of all that stuff for us. We just hand over the deal to them, the specifics of what they're going to install. They take it off our plate. The project gets completely transferred over to their operations system. They have their own team of project managers that take over from there. They take over handling communications with the homeowner. We're done.
Peter, I want to connect you with a friend of mine and a client of mine. Will you make sure that we do this afterwards? He owns the largest solar repair company in the country right now.
Cool.
And I helped build his sales system for him a couple months ago. And I think that you guys would benefit from talking to each other. So let's make sure that we do that, okay?
Sounds good. So really the whole purpose of me being even here right now is I just want other people, I want other HVAC owners to see the light that I saw. And I saw this light without even really seeing the details of it. So I was really just scratching the surface of it in the very beginning. It took me the years that I've taken to get to this point now to really learn to iron out those details to make it even better than what I've just explained now. So, now what's so beautiful about what we do. So what I do now is I train other HVAC companies on how they can implement this entire strategy into their practice, where they don't have to lift a finger, they don't have to learn how to install anything new, they don't have to mess around with any of the operation side of anything whatsoever. They just make the profit off of the deal. Now, to answer your question, it's not as simple as a percentage. Like most things are just, anytime you sell something, it's always just a flat percentage of something. So it's a little bit wonky. That's one of the things that's wonky about it. It's not based on that. It's based on a price per watt, which is kind of goofy. That would be like if we priced HVAC on a price per BTU, right? Which would be weird, but that's kind of like the way to think about it. Like if we sold HVAC based on price per BTU. So same thing here. We sell it based on price per watt. So this is super nice for HVAC company owners, because now they're able to add on this product that now they can not have to worry about having to do any of the heavy lifting on their own. And all they do is just reap all the benefits without all our hard work. So that's the most high level overview of why this is such an attractive concept to anybody. And you don't need to go through me. You could theoretically piece this together yourself. So I'm just making that clear. I always tell people I'm not like the genius in the room. I've just already put in all the hard work, so might as well not reinvent the wheel and just piggyback off of me and let me just take you through all the steps and get you out live. I can get an HVAC company live doing this inside of a few hours. So this is
guys, if you would like to have more information on what Peter's talking about right now, will you please just put info down in the comments? That way my team knows and we can figure out how to connect you guys all. Just put info down in the comments if you're an HVAC guy that is interested in this concept of adding solar without adding any more installers, without adding service technicians, and just really reaping the extra profit that can be built because you're providing the client, right? So put info down in the comments. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, so that's the most high-level overview of why they should consider it. Now, to add further kind of like cherries, additional cherry on the cake here, is that the saying? Cherry on the pie?
The cherry on top. So
Cherry on top?
when I was a kid, it was an electric nose picker. I don't even know anything about that anymore.
I should probably get my colloquialisms correct before I start saying them. You get the idea. So now here's what's so cool. Do you want me to just share my pitch with you?
Yeah, why not?
Let me just share my $1 million pitch. Here we go.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I do it all the time.
Here's my super simple $1 million pitch. You know, I'm sure we all know Alex Hormozy, right? And his basic idea is like, you know, just give people everything. Just give them all of the keys to the kingdom, and then you sell them the implementation. Right? Because most people won't know how to implement it. So I can just give you my script and give you everything, but you still need to know how to implement it. So here, I'm just going to literally give you the keys to the kingdom. And then if you need implementation, maybe I can help you. So the pitch is actually remarkably simple, and it's super sexy. So here's the idea. So the idea is, so when you're talking to a homeowner, and this is really geared more towards like the comfort advisor type person, right? Who's building relationships with homeowners, is that you're in a home, and whether you're a selling tech or whether you're a straight comfort advisor, it doesn't really matter. But let's just pretend you're talking about a replacement, right? So let's just fast forward to the moment where we're actually talking about a replacement. Well, then what we're going to do, but maybe they're on the edge, right? They're on the fence a little bit. Should I keep the old one and keep throwing money at it, or should I just toss it and get a new one? I'm torn, right? And we all know how normal comfort advisors would handle that conversation. But here's a way to even push it over the edge a little bit further. Right? Is I normally have the conversation with homeowners, and I just say, hey, look, Mr. Homeowner, I'm not just here to sell you equipment. My job here is to take a holistic view of your entire home and help you save money, whether that's through HVAC or whether it's through something else. Because at the end of the day, your primary motivation for making any of these changes is to put a few bucks back in your pocket. Am I right? Yeah.
Right.
Cool. So look, usually the bloodline of your home, the blood work of your home can all be found in your utility bill. That shows us everything we need to know. You can think that your home is doing great, and you can think that it's super energy efficient, but that blood work is going to come back and tell us something totally different. It could tell us that you're on the edge of a heart attack, right? And you didn't know that until we did the blood work. Well, your utility statement, that's your blood work. So let me take a look at it, and let me dissect it, and let's look to see if there really is some room for improvement. Can you grab a utility bill for me, please? Do you normally get those in the mail, or do you get them online? Oh, we get them online. Cool. You want to just pull it up on your phone real fast? I'll take a look. I can look at it in a couple of minutes and tell you what's what. So we look at it, and then I just ask them very simply, Mr. Homeowner.
Now, what are you looking for, by the way?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
First, ask a question. Mr. Homeowner, what do you think? What do you think you're spending on month per average right now for electricity? And just wait. Let them tell you. Most people don't know. They're kind of guessing. A lot of people
They're going to guess.
They're guessing. Most people don't even look at their utility bills, which is hilarious. And that's another thing that I can talk about. But most people don't even know. But so just ask them to guess, right? Maybe they'll say like $150 a month. Pretty average, pretty common answer, right? So cool. Is that what you think you pay, month in, month out on average across the board? Yeah, about $150 a month. Show a little bill shock. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty high. Do you think your neighbors are paying that much? I don't know. Why do you think it's so high? Do you guys have a pool in the backyard? I didn't see one. No. Do you guys have a lot of kids that I just didn't notice when I came in the house? No. You guys have like 2, 3 ACs? How many you got? No, just one. I think you're paying a little bit more than you need to be paying. Let's take a closer look. So now I take a look, I take a look at their utility bill, and I'm going to show you, I would show you guys how to do this. It's a kind of a boring conversation to do it now would be pointless, but I will show you how to actually read a utility bill and look for the problems, which you'll quickly learn to identify. And then I could come back and simply show you, look, Mr. Homeowner, right now you're paying $150 a month on average for a utility bill. There's another option. Another option is to look at solar. Anything you may have known about it in the past, forget it. That's all the old way of doing it. I'm going to show you a much newer way of doing it now that I think will really save you guys a ton of money. So your benefit by going solar is that we can probably save you 20, 30% a month immediately without any question. And the best part about it is that your utility company, XYZ Utility in XYZ Market, well, they're raising their rates a minimum 6 to 8% every single year. And that's super conservative, by the way. It's in some parts of the country, like Texas, it could be 400%. In Southern Florida, it could be 200-300%. In Massachusetts right now, it's 200-300%. So when I say 8%, I'm being hyper conservative. So it just depends on what part of the country I'm in. And I'll show you, of course, how to take care of that, just depending on where you are in the country. So, Mr. Homeowner, look, your utility bill is going to be going up a minimum of 6 to 8% every single year. The quickest math you could ever do is that basically 10 years from now, you'll be paying double what you are right now. Here's what's so cool about going solar. Let me ask you a simple question. If 10 years ago, you could have installed a gas pump in your garage and locked in gasoline prices from 10 years ago, you obviously would have done that, right? Obviously. That's exactly what you're doing going solar, is you're locking in your electricity prices from 10 years ago. So that 10 years from now, when all your neighbors are paying double, you'll still be paying that old flat rate from 10 years ago. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
There you go. So that's the most high level overview. Then that's just the first part. Now here's where things get really kind of interesting. If you guys wanted to take a look at potentially bundling up solar plus your HVAC replacement today, there's 3 huge advantages by doing this. Number 1, big advantage. If you were to just finance the HVAC system, you would have to take out a typical home improvement loan. Nowadays, home improvement loans are what? 10, 12% on average, with interest rates as crazy high as they are. With solar, we may be able to get you approved because of all the government sponsorships that are out there. We may be able to get you approved for as low as 3 or 4%. So like a third of the interest rate. So that's going to take your monthly payment from here and knock off a third immediately, right? It just instant. There you go. So we just automatically lowered your payment a third. Now next, those home improvement loans, those typically max out at what? 10 years, right?
Right.
Typically speaking, 10 years. With solar, we may be able to get you approved for a 25-year term, 2.5 times. So they're about a third lower again right there, right? We just lowered your term, or we just increased the term and lowered your payment by about a third again. So
Right.
now we just knocked it down even more. And now the best part is, have you heard about the solar tax credit that's available for homeowners that go solar this year? Well, it's 30%. You get a 30% tax credit by going solar this year. We may be able to get that wrapped up together for you today with the HVAC purchase. That's like getting an automatic 33% discount on your HVAC system. I don't know about you, but I can't even get my own mom a discount, a 33% discount on her system with my friends and family discount. I couldn't even come close to that. So now you're getting another 33% discount. So we just took your monthly payment from here and knocked it down 3 times all the way down to here. End result?
So about 20% of what it otherwise would have been, right?
End result is, I could, if you guys wanted to look at bundling solar together today with your HVAC system replacement, I should be able to get both of them done for way less than just the HVAC itself. Would you guys want to keep looking at what this option looks like? You do? Cool. Let's keep looking. There's the pitch. It's really goddamn hard to say no to that. All right. Then I show you how to do it. Then I show you how to actually put together a proper solar proposal, how to actually, and the beauty of it is it's very simple. Like, you don't actually have to become a solar engineer and learn to put panels. Our partners do most of that hard work for you. I show you how to put together the financing through our partnerships with these existing finance partners. The cool thing is I've been doing this for a long time now. So now I have preferred vendor status with these big companies like GoodLeap and Mosaic that some of you have probably already heard of.
Got it. So you're not using like a PACE program for this?
You can where PACE is available, but PACE is very sparsely available. So if
it's a lot more paperwork and shit like that, right? So you are doing this through people like GoodLeap and Mosaic, you said?
GoodLeap is our primary partner.
Wow. And so they'll go out like 25 years on solar and bundle it all together with the HVAC.
Exactly. And in reality, I don't want to muddle the conversation even more. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but you don't have to stop there. You don't have to stop at HVAC. So now, Gene, this is where the beauty.
Wait. Hang on a second, because I'm trying to work this around in my mind. You said for less than the HVAC system, which you don't mean as a whole. You mean on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis, sure.
Got it. I'm with you now.
Yeah,
okay.
On a monthly basis.
You're back on. Keep going.
And now, what's to stop you from adding on all the additional add-ons that you guys should be adding on, such as Gene's IAQ brilliance? You should not stop here. Now you should have the conversation about, should we talk about the air that you're breathing and the air that's going into your kids' lungs? Is that important to you? I thought it was. Let's talk about that, because that stuff is going to be like pennies now. it's going to be like pennies on the dollar. So that may add like 10, 15 bucks a month, and we can outfit you with the absolute Rolls Royce of IAQ products now. So it's a super friendly conversation that everyone wants to hear and everyone will listen to you. And the way that I present it to people becomes this very friendly conversation.
Now, what would you say if I was the client and I was like, yeah, but my HVAC system, I don't want to finance it for 25 years because it's only going to last 12?
Well, I mean, I've never run into that problem. I think it's a legitimate question. I've just never run into that question before. It's never been an issue that I've run into.
I'll accept that as an answer.
Okay.
No, seriously. I mean, I had that conversation sometimes with my students, and it's rare, but there are some situations that I've just never encountered. And so if you've run 100 calls and you've not encountered it once, we call that a 2% or less, and we don't train for those.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Not an issue I've run into. So
pretty awesome.
Yeah, there you go, guys. I mean, it's that simple. So what I do is I train you on this. I provide that very simple word track dialogue, very, very straightforward, very simple. Just learning how to ask the right questions, all about question asking, and just piquing their interest, and then just giving them an irresistible offer. I always tell people, it's like, I love training people on sales. I love sales. It's definitely one of my greatest passions in life. But like, sales is really cool, but wouldn't it just be a whole heck of a lot better to have an irresistible offer that you don't even have to be a very good salesperson on in the first place? Like, drug dealers don't read books on sales.
Yeah. No, but they train on it. The first one's always free.
The first one is always free. But their product sells itself. They don't have to really do much training on it, do they?
Nope. Don, do you have anything you want to add inside of this conversation?
Yeah, that is funny. I think, the story goes, do you want to have the best hamburger in town, or do you just want to have a hungry crowd? I take the hungry crowd anytime, because they're so much easier to sell. So often HVAC companies want to figure out how to be the best, how to, this product is better than their product in comparisons, when in reality, just get a hungry crowd, get people who want air conditioning, want solar, and it's so much easier to sell it. And I love the way you just said that. You basically said the HVAC system is the whole package is going to be cheaper per month than the HVAC. It's almost stating that in a way of, do you want the solar included, or just it's the same payment? Do you want the solar included or not?
And guys, the other nice thing about this is that we can go deeper on this conversation. I just wanted the high level sort of an overview, but I want to kind of open up some, channels of thought just so you guys can start thinking about where this can go, because it doesn't have to end there. So now let's think about it, right? Those two products are actually very interrelated with each other, because one does change the calculation of the other. Well, now I'm able to tell homeowners that, like, hey, if you actually upgraded your HVAC system to the super high efficiency system, well, then we can actually downsize your solar system, and now that becomes even cheaper. So can we go back and take a look at that high efficiency model real fast? Because I want to show you what that'll actually do to your solar payment. Because if you actually upgraded from the 2-stage and you looked at the high efficiency system, now we can offset the price difference with the solar savings. So now you're actually getting the high efficiency system for no additional cost. You want to take a look at that?
I want to take a look at another conversation after this podcast. I want to have another conversation with you about this, Peter, because I've got probably 3,000 HVAC contractors that are close, and I think we need to have a conversation about getting this out to people.
Sure. So that was one little side conversation. Now here's another cool little side conversation. You don't even have to do the traditional loan program with solar. Solar has leases. Now, leases, in my mind, I think are even better than loan programs, but there's a time and a place for both, right? And as you get, I normally start people kind of slow, and I just sort of graduate them as they move along. Like once they got one step down pretty well, then I'll kind of introduce the next concept to them. And so leases will kind of introduce a little bit later on down the road. But leases are a phenomenal way to go back and reactivate your database. So if you've got an old database, which everyone does, and if you're not reaching out to them, you should. But here's a brilliant way to reach out to them. So a brilliant way to reach out to your old database is by presenting them with a lease option instead. And the way to pitch the lease option is you don't even have to call it a lease. We have branded ours the no loan solar program. So what I tell people is like, look, you get all the same end result benefit of going solar, which is cheaper power. It's all you really care about. Now you don't have to even take out some big ass $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 loan. We'll take care of that. We'll actually pay to have the system put on your roof for you. We'll take care of all the maintenance. So now it's our problem and not yours. And you're going to get the same end result benefit, which is cheaper power without all the headaches, without the credit check, and without the big loan affecting your DTI. So now I can truly get you day one savings from literally day number one without having to come out of pocket a penny and without having to even take out a loan at all.
If anybody just wondered about the acronym DTI that you just said, will you please let them know what that means?
Their debt to income ratio. So if you're taking out a big loan, and solar is a big loan, if you're taking out a big loan that could be upwards of $50,000 and sometimes even more, that can really negatively affect your debt to income ratio, which will affect your purchasing power. So if you are in the market to get a new truck or buy a new home or refinance or something like that, affecting your DTI in a pretty major way like that could pose a problem. So looking at a lease option is a really financially brilliant way to go. That's what I'm doing on my own home. That's what I'm doing on my mom's home. I'm not even looking at taking out loans. Loans are real. There's nothing wrong with loans. Let me just say that. I'm not sitting here shit talking loans. I think they're both a great way to go solar. They're both a great way to save money. I just think leases are a better way to do it. They're both good. One's just better than the other.
There are negatives to both of them, right?
With the lease side, I can't really think of much in the way of negatives because most people would tell me, okay, but I want to own the system. To which my response would be, why? Like, it's not an appreciating asset, right? This is not an appreciating asset. Those panels degrade in value every single year. So why do you need to own it? It's not like you can turn around and sell it. Right. It's not like 10 years from now, it's going to go up in price and I'm going to rip it off my roof and sell it on Craigslist.
And you'll have equity in it, right?
No. And that's very questionable as to whether it adds value to your home. So I don't even really talk about that because that's really it really depends on the market.
I've heard realtors that have talked a lot of shit about it and said, hey, be careful buying a house that's got solar.
That's right. So buying a house that's got solar, I would have no problem, but paying more for it, I would pay a little bit more for it. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it's super simple math. Like if you're shopping around for a house in an XYZ neighborhood and you're looking at two identical homes, one with solar, one without. The one without solar is paying $300 a month in electric charges. The one with solar is paying $150. Which one's the better choice?
Right.
The one that's paying $300, that's just today. That one's going up every single month. The one with solar, that one's never going up.
It's a very similar line of questioning that I use comparing two houses with a brand new air conditioner versus one that's 10 years old.
Sure. Yeah, which one are you going to buy? And the beauty of it is like with solar, that's never going up. Like you're locked in. So that's why I give people that gas pump analogy. It's like this house has a gas pump that's stuck in this guy has this really cool magical gas pump in his garage with gasoline prices from 10 years ago. That guy's paying full price. Well, then do
you see yourself ever not using electricity? If the utility rates jumped 300-400%, are you still going to pay for electricity? Or you're going to run the house on candles?
Yep. Are you going to switch companies? Oh, you can't, can you?
Yeah. Got it. Yep. Wow. We had a question come in earlier about solar panels being. Man, she's quick on this. Isn't Brittany quick on this? Did the industry figure out yet how to recycle old solar panels? If yes, what percentage, if you know, is recycled?
I have no freaking clue, guys. I am not the tech nerd here who's going to have answers for questions like that. I'm a sales guy. I'm here to help people make money. I'm here to provide value to homeowners. I do not know questions like that.
Here's one that you will know.
That's Ask ChatGPT question.
Here's one you will know. How long can you expect solar panels to last? Is it around 25 years?
That's a very reasonable question, and that's a very simple answer to that question. So solar panels do degrade. Oh God, what is the degradation? It's like 0.03% per year or something like that. It's some very, very low number. That's a stupid number. No one needs to know that. The only thing that you do need to know is how it actually affects you in the long term. What we have found is that just depending on the size of your home, for the average U.S. homeowner, after 25 years, you will need to add between 1 to 2 extra panels to make up for the degradation. So
Got it.
It's that simple.
But they do last nearing or more than 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, they last way longer than that. There's you guys, you can drive around in your neighborhood now and probably see homes that have those really like weather beaten solar panels, all gray and looking like they've been up there. Some of these early adopters have had solar up there for 20, 30, 40 years.
And technology's come a long way. I found out from working with that largest solar repair and replacement company. What'll happen, and this brings up another question. Somebody will need a new roof or something like that. They'll go out, pull it off, and then reinstall it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking while you were talking earlier, have you yet figured out a way to work a new roof depending on where you're from, into the same package? Has that ever occurred to you?
Yes. So that also now comes back. So now that's, kind of touching on some more kind of finer detail points. And so roofing is so that is, there's a couple ways you can do it, but one is to build that into the original proposal itself. And the cool thing is also all of these solar companies have roofing departments. All of them have roofing departments built into them. Every single one of them do. So if you've got a homeowner that really does have a pretty beat up roof or it's getting pretty old, you can absolutely present that to them and you can say, look, guys, we can absolutely, bake that into this as well. Get it done for pennies on the dollar. And now that's just one less thing you guys have to worry about for the next 50 years. Do you want me to, I can show you both. You want me to just at least show you option A and option B?
Now you're looking at a 6-figure deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And these panels, by the way, guys, from what I've been told, the amount of electricity that they're able to create per square foot has gone up significantly. So now you're not needing as many panels on your roof as you used to have, right?
That's right. So now let me talk about money, right? Because all this conversation sounds really, really cool on paper.
I like money. Let's talk about money.
Let's talk about money. Like, what kind of money is this actually going to put into the pocket of an HVAC company if this is something that they want to entertain looking at? So let me actually give you some basic numbers here to wrap your mind around. So solar is priced generally per kilowatt or watt, but we'll just make it simple and price it per kilowatt. The average home in the United States is 8 kilowatts, requires an 8 kilowatt system, just average price home. It could be a lot, like in Dallas, it could be 3 times that. And then in like New Mexico or whatever, it could be smaller, but 8 kilowatt system is a pretty typical size for the United States. Typical profit for the HVAC company, is about $1,000 a kilowatt times 8 equals $8,000 in net profit. True net profit. So the average home that goes solar will yield that HVAC company $8,000 in net profit.
Is this after I pay a salesperson?
Which cost them nothing, by the way. Let me just be very clear.
After I pay my salesperson?
No. So then you can decide, and I will love having this conversation with companies about, that's always a delicate conversation, and I'll tell you why, is because it's such a high dollar amount, right, for such a seemingly simple transaction that you didn't have to lift a finger on. It's such a high, that's more than most companies are making off of their highest of high-end, systems. So it becomes a, kind of a delicate conversation that I have with the owner as to like, how should you pay your comfort advisors? Because if you make it too much, they're going to jump ship and call me to look for a job selling solar, right? And I don't want to steal your guys. Oh, I won't steal your guys. Let me just make that very clear. But nonetheless, they could then start looking for jobs wanting to sell solar because like, holy shit, there's a lot of money, just selling solar. I could just be making the $8,000 myself. Why should I be working for XYZ HVAC company when I can just go find a way to sell solar myself? So my recommendation is to like keep the profit, somewhat kind of in line with what you would give them if they sold like a really high efficiency complete system, a complete system. So if you're giving them, if they're making $1,000, then pay them $1,000. If it's $2,000, then pay them $2,000. But I would try to incentivize it about the same. But even
Yeah,
if
I was thinking out of $8,000, up to $2,000 would probably be,
I think so.
I
think so. Yep. And that's putting $6,000 now back into the owner's pocket. So the math is, and again, I'm going to give you very, very conservative math. And this is, of course, depending on the size of your company. It depends on how many homes that Comfort Advisor is visiting on a monthly basis. But I'm using kind of just a very medium-sized company, not a big company at all. Okay. No, we're not talking to Ken Goodrich here, even though hi, Ken. So we're talking kind of a more small to medium-sized company. So, and let's just break it down per Comfort Advisor. If that Comfort Advisor is selling even one solar system per week, which I think is actually quite conservative, especially once they kind of get the hang of it and just really get their pitch down.
Yeah.
They're selling one per week. Well, that's $6,000 per Comfort Advisor per week. So $24,000 in pure net profit per Comfort Advisor.
For something you didn't have to touch or deal with logistically or pick up equipment or anything like that.
Bingo.
Rich Rick says, live on the job, just made a sale following Gene's videos, going to nibble soon after. Thanks for all the free info. My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. Hey, reach out to me. I want to hear more about that. Shoot me a DM. All right. I'd love to hear more about that sale.
You got to say it right. You're going to want to shoot Gene a DM.
Don't tell me what to do.
I know the quick nibble. You're going to want to.
Yes, sir. We spent some time together, Peter and I, working on the indoor air quality presentations and packages and things like that a couple years ago when he owned his HVAC company. So that's how we originally met. So real quick, just 8 kW, 8,000. What does that job typically sell for retail to the customer?
Yeah, a job like that could be 40 grand, somewhere around there.
So 5. Okay, so you're getting about 20% ish of that job for selling it and everything.
That's a pretty safe estimation.
Just for opening your mouth.
Yes.
Really, and providing a solution for the client that is actually more economical, better for the planet, right? You're able to get them even better, more high efficient stuff. So we're not taxing the grids. I mean, like there's a whole lot of benefits.
Nothing but benefits. Honestly,
setting the money aside. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah. It's nothing but benefit. Is anything perfect? No. I mean, there's a tiny, a minor little drawbacks here and there, but I cannot think of anything that I would say no to. Absolutely everything is a win.
Hey guys, if you would like to see Peter and I put together a class on this for you, maybe a 1 or 2 day class, just put class down in the comments. All right. You're not committing to anything by putting class down in the comments. This is just a poll, a survey to determine whether or not this is worth our time putting something together to help you guys. So just put class down in the comments. And by the way, if you're watching this live, please put live or replay. If you're watching it on a replay, pretty please. Thank you very much. Love the engagement. I appreciate you guys for that. That keeps us continuing to bring you guests like Peter. That's our payment. Peter, anything else that you feel like is pertinent to this conversation? And if you guys got any questions, let us know because we're going to be wrapping this up pretty quick. And I want to make sure you get your questions answered.
For me, this is all about there's always hidden costs, right? Like whenever you're buying something or engaging in, some new program, or do I want to do this solar thing? Like, what is the hidden, where's he going to get me? Where's the hidden cost? I'm here to tell you, I've taken all that nonsense out of this. I want this to be a total win for everybody. I don't want this to take long. So literally the training on this should take less than 1 day. I should be able to do absolutely everything in less than 1 day. The implementation of it should take nothing but a few hours. So really, I just need to show you what buttons to push. And, we can do all of that on Zoom. I don't need to fly there. I don't need to do anything fancy like that. You don't need to get all your guys in one room at the same time for training sessions. If you can, cool. If you can't, no big deal. We can do the whole thing via video training sessions. I have everything completely already mapped out as to how to take your guys from beginning to end. And that whole process, maximum of 3 days, guys. And I'm not talking 8-hour days. I'm talking like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. So this is not expensive. This is not time consuming. There's no hidden costs. There's no, weird pain points that happen later on down the road. I want this to be a no-brainer. Like I mentioned, it's cool to be a good salesperson, but it's even cooler to have a product that sells itself. So I hope that this is like just a no-brainer for you guys, and you at least want to have a conversation with me, because I can show you that this is, you're missing out every day that you're not doing this.
Freaking awesome, man. Don, do you have anything to add?
Thanks, Peter. It was a lot of great information. I'm still processing that math in my head because I'm a math person. But yeah, anywhere a comfort advisor could probably add $1,000 to $2,000 in commissions, you're going to get their attention. So
yeah,
exciting.
And how many of you guys are having trouble finding new comfort advisors or hanging on your existing comfort advisors? Or they're coming to you all the time going, geez, boss, I'm not making enough money. What can we do?
Go ahead and mute, Don.
How can I make more money? What can we do to increase my pay? I'm having troubles making ends meet. Like, how many guys are you having that conversation with on a weekly basis? Wouldn't it be nice to just put an end to those conversations and have super loyal comfort advisors that would never dream of going anywhere else because they can't replicate this model with anybody else?
Well, and also, you ready? Like, how does this separate you from your competition, guys? Like, they're not going to know how to do this or be able to do it, and your clients can be forced to do two different things at one time. That's the biggest thing that I see here, is that you're not going to have other HVAC contractors competing with you to replace a system because you're the only one that knows how to do this in your market.
Gene, you beat me to it. I was going to tell people, it's like, how cool would it feel to know that you never have to hear this? Cool, Peter, but I really need to get 3 more quotes.
Yeah.
How cool would it feel to know that goes away now? Because like you just said, no one can replicate what you're doing now. It's just, you've completely decommoditized yourself from the rest of the HVAC community now, because you're presenting something to homeowners that cannot be replicated anywhere else. It's just you.
You have a solution that you almost have a patent on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty cool, man. We're definitely going to have a conversation about getting this out to more of my audience beyond this, because as you guys know, I know we're streaming on like 6 different platforms right now, but with the algorithms, only so many of you are going to end up seeing this, which is why I'm asking you guys to type live and replay and shit like that in the comments, right? Oh, and by the way, if you need your boss to see this or somebody else to see it, just put their name in the comments, all right? Peter, is there anything else in closing that you want to leave us with?
No, because I don't want to like muddy the waters too much. I don't want to overcome. Yeah. I want this to be, because honestly, we don't have to make it any more. There's no like, oh, I didn't tell you about this and this and this. Right? It's not like that, right? I've just literally handed you the entire keys to the kingdom. I just hope you come to me for a quick and fast implementation of it.
Guys, if you want help with implementing what we've been talking about today, either put info or class down in the comments, and my team will make sure that we eventually get connected. It probably won't be today, but maybe tomorrow or the next day or something like that. Info or class, either one of those in the comments is going to get you some more information. And here's one thing I can promise you: we're not going to hard sell you. Okay? No need for any of that. Okay? Peter, thank you so much for coming on the Blackbelt Sales Podcast today and sharing this with us. Don, thank you for being with us. If you guys need more help with sales training or things like that, please remember October 25th to the 29th is our next Ultimate Black Belt Sales Training event. We're going to be in Orlando at the Grand Hala Mansion. You don't need to get a hotel or anything like that. You're going to stay with us at the mansion, and we're going to have fun, not just in class, but after class. We're going to eat together. We might have a couple drinks together. We're going to talk about business until the wee hours of the morning, some of us. These guys tend to keep me up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, man. It's not good. I'm wiped out for like a week afterwards. So please hit us up with a DM or put mansion down in the comments, and we'll get you some more information on that. Love you guys. Have yourself a wonderful time. Again, Peter, Don, thanks for being with us. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.